Hello everybody, this is Texas Decal King making an instructional video or more of a help video. If you get your decals in and your envelope is all smashed up or they mishandled it in one way or another, this over here is what it could look like when it comes out. And a lot of people look at this and they're like, oh my god, it's ruined, I need a refund. Number one, I can't refund for postal service issues because I ship out in hard cardboard mailers. I do everything I can on my end to protect it, so that's not something that I can be responsible for, sadly. And it rarely happens, but when it does, it does. And I've had a couple times recently where some people had their postal guy messed it up pretty bad, and they messaged me. So this video is for that. You can see here, it looks pretty wrinkled. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to fix this. Well, good thing is, number one, if you put this on, take this off, put it on the vehicle, 90% of the time it's gonna work itself out. Like it's gonna self heal, so to speak. But for the ones that want to make sure, I've got here just the Bauer from Harbor Freight heat gun. I have it set on 7 right now, which I don't want to do. So you set the heat gun down to about midway, it's 3.5. You can use it medium here or low, medium, high. So what I do is I usually put it about medium, and you just go back and forth over the decal. Once it gets really warm, make sure the heat coming out is pretty warm, and just go back and forth over it. Don't stop at all, for any period of time, more than like a half a second, because you can melt the decal. And of course, it's going to get soft. What this does is this re-softens the vinyl and lets it go back to its normal state. Now, you can do this with a hairdryer also on high. So hairdryer is even less of a chance of hurting it, because of course, hairdryers aren't meant to burn your scalp off. So the chances of it, getting really messed up are low. As you can see here, it's starting to soften out a little bit, but I think the heat gun's on too low. So what you can do is, if you have a heat gun that's adjustable, go up a little bit. I'm gonna go up to a 5. Go back to the low speed again. That way you're not putting too much heat out too quickly. Hit it again. There we go. Now you can see it starting to smooth out. Naturally, it's gonna naturally smooth out. The paper's still gonna be wrinkled, so the paper's not gonna let the decal go 100% back to being, to its original flatness. So what you gotta do is now take a squeegee or something, or a credit card with something soft on it, like a sock, piece of cloth, and just kind of just rub it out slowly. You can do it without the cloth on it, but I wouldn't recommend it because it can scratch, especially the glossy decals. This is matte color, so it's a lot harder to smash out. To scratch, but anyways, you can see it flattened out a little bit. It's still there, so what you can do is now you can put it a little bit higher if you have a heat gun, or if you have a hair dryer, keep it on high and put it a little bit closer. I'm gonna turn it up to medium speed on the fan, and we'll hit it. I moved it up to a 6 from the 5. But if you have a heat gun with no adjustability, just remember, put it a little closer, but move it a little more so you don't melt it. You definitely don't want to stretch the decal out. You don't want to get it too hot, or it'll start changing its texture. Like if it's if it's matte, see right there, see how you did almost too much, it started to make a little soft wrinkle. You can just squish that right back out, but if you make it too hot, that wrinkle could stretch and actually ruin the whole decal. Okay, so even though it doesn't look like it did much, it did. Now the decal's warm too and softer, so if you take it off, of the material. Let me see if I can get this here where you can actually see it. It's hard to get these things to lean up with the camera. Facing on it, there we go. Let's see if I can do this here with this little thing. Excuse the weird angle. Don't really have a lot of choice here. I gotta make sure this thing there we go. So now what you can do is you can take it off. If you start here, use tweezers. I'm good at this, so I know how to peel it up with my thumb. Go on ahead and just peel the decal off very slowly after it's cooled down. Don't do it while it's hot. And if you were applying this to a vehicle, just for example, let's imagine this right here is the vehicle. You would lay this where you want it. I suggest, of course, the soapy wet method, especially if you're going to do a small decals. This is dry, but just to show you, so then you put the decal out on the vehicle. It's going to wrinkle a little bit here and there because you just made it soft, so you don't want to push it down. Just keep on moving it around, work those wrinkles out. Give it a little bit of a pull here and there. Now I'm going to show you what to do when you do get the wrinkles where they don't want to come out, because it's still soft. So what you do is massage everything as good as you can. And now you can see it's pretty much wrinkle free. But There's still a few there. Hit it again after it's on the vehicle. I'm putting it a little higher this time so it'll get the heat out quicker. There you go. Let's see, it's naturally taking out the wrinkles on its own without you even having to hit it. Then you take that and go back over it again, squeegee it out, and voila. See? Now the decal is wrinkle free. You can see the lines underneath from my cutting mat. Those aren't wrinkles, but if I had something smoother to put it on, it'd be a lot easier to example. This is a messed up decal, so don't take this. The shape's misshapen because I cut it when I was cutting, and it cut off in a bad way, so I had to dispose of it. So that's the normal decal. Now, of course, it's soft, as you can see. See how, just for example, see how good it's stuck? The heat also makes it stick really well. So when you use heat, and there's the paper. See how wrinkly that paper was? Still came off really good. Now, it's a lot different with chrome, because chrome actually has a metallic layer. So it's almost impossible to get it to completely heat back out, but we're gonna go ahead and show you how much you can do it. I don't want to say impossible as in you can't do it, it just takes a little more effort and a lot more patience. But you gotta get it really nice and warm. That heats up the foil underneath. Now with the foil, it's not like plastic, so it's not going to, and you don't want to overheat it, of course, either, like I just did on that one. See right there, if you overheat the chrome, it'll actually start to show the chrome through the foil. Sorry, not through the foil, but through the glossy texture, because that's what makes it chrome. This is black chrome right here, but that's what makes it chromy. Now let me see if I can get this to sit up again. Sorry about the weird angle once again. Now, this chrome doesn't stretch, it tears. So you gotta be very careful when you take it off. See how it's got that foil, so that metallic background? That's what all chrome has. Now you can see the wrinkles right there in the chrome, right? So what you wanna do is the same thing. Lay that down. As if you're putting it on a vehicle, lay it down here. Stick it where you want it. Use some soapy water, especially with the chrome. If you don't use soapy water, you're gonna be having a lot of fun. And squeegee it out the best you can. Once again, the chrome has a foil backing, so it's gonna be a little harder. You have to be a little more patient. Turn the hair dryer on again. I'm actually bubbling my mat up here, getting it hot, but go ahead and just kind of rotate around that. Not getting it hot in any certain area very long. Just get it a little bit soft, just soften the texture up. Turn it off. And go ahead and squeegee that chrome out the best you can. And it'll gradually, as long as you don't overheat it, the wrinkles will all come out on a really smooth surface. I'm using, like I was saying, the cutting mat here, so there's no way to get all these wrinkles out because it's matching to the cutting mat's wrinkles or the cutting mat's cut lines. But as you can see, you got them out. This is because I overheated it. That's why I'm actually glad I made this video to show that. If you overheat anything that's foil related, like chrome, black chrome, red chrome, blue chrome, it doesn't matter what chrome it is, it'll start to show the mirror finish in the back behind it. Think of the chrome decals as a mirror behind clear. That's pretty much what it is. But this has got a smoke clear to it. And you see this decal, it still keeps its shape because it's chrome, but it also tears really easy. Let me show you. This is a good representation of why you gotta really be careful with chrome. You know, now it's gonna be crazy. It doesn't really tear easy when it's warm. It tears easy when it's cold. But there we go. See that? All I did was pull on that, it just tore right off. It doesn't have any stretch, almost any leniency to it. So you gotta be really careful with chrome. If it comes in severely damaged, I replace. I don't refund because it's not my fault, but if it comes in, I would consider this not severe, but I would consider it close enough, and if it doesn't come out, then of course I replace. But if it's just lightly wrinkled, you can also save your chrome. So, I hope that helped with all the questions. I get a lot of the questions a lot of times on how to save that. So this has been a presentation, Texas Decal King. I hope I helped out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, email, call, etc. Have a good one.